Welcome back to our channel. Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul, whose hit song Midnight Train to Georgia captivated millions, has a powerful voice and a stunning aura. But there is another strong, vulnerable, and resilient side to the woman. From a little girl with a dream of singing to performing on the world's biggest stages, she quickly rose to become a musical icon. But beneath the surface, there is a woman who is strong, vulnerable, and resilient. Few people could have imagined that she would have to deal with broken marriages, a terrible gambling addiction, and the heartbreaking deaths of loved ones. These are just a few of the problems she faced at the height of her fame. Gladys Knight not only conquered the world with her voice, but she also fought to rediscover herself when things looked hopeless. Her journey is not only the story of a talented artist, but also a symbol of overcoming hardships to turn pain into strength. Subscribe to our channel now. Come with us as we explore the secrets and lessons from the amazing life of a woman who changed the meaning of music and determination. Gladys Maria Knight was born in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, in late May 1944. She was the second child of Merrill Woodlow Knight Sr., a hard-working postal worker, and Sarah Elizabeth Woods, a devoted mother with strong beliefs in education and morality. Gladys grew up in a loving but challenging home where family values and religious faith were paramount. The Kane family lived in their modest home was in a working-class neighborhood that had its share of economic problems, but they always tried to keep a strong spiritual foundation. Music and the teachings of faith from their Baptist church became an important part of daily life. Her parents encouraged their children to take part in church activities to strengthen their faith and teach them how to deal with life's problems with strength and trust. From a very young age, Gladys showed a lot of sensitivity and compassion. Because she was the youngest child before her brothers were born, her parents loved her and taught her how to understand her. One of her earliest memories is of going to church with her family on Sunday mornings. She felt a deep connection to music there. For Gladys, the hymns sung in church were not just prayers, but also a doorway into a world of emotions and creativity. Even though Elle's childhood wasn't perfect, it wasn't without pain and loss either. David Billy Knight, Gladys's older brother, died young, leaving a big hole in the family. Even though she was only a child at the time, the loss left a deep mark on her soul, and she would later use that grief in her deeply emotional songs. She was raised with love and discipline. Her parents believed in teaching their children to work hard and keep their dignity no matter what. Because she was a smart and active child, Gladys stood out not only in church events, but also as a beloved presence at school. She had a natural talent for music and an innate ability to connect with people. Her teachers often praised her as a thoughtful and responsible student who was always willing to help her peers, showing a maturity beyond her years. During these formative years, the Knight family often held big family gatherings where music and stories brought everyone together. Group singing is where Gladys first discovered her amazing talent, a natural, soulful voice. But as a young girl at that age, she didn't see herself as a musician. For her, music was just a way to share love and happiness. Growing up in a modest home, Gladys felt the weight of her parents' expectations. They never put pressure on her to become famous or achieve great success, but they did teach her to be responsible and thankful. These lessons gave her the strength to become a musician. As a child, Gladys Knight's life was full of love, faith, and important lessons that would shape her personality as an adult. Her childhood was a tapestry of early pains and joys that made her a sensitive soul, ready to handle whatever life would throw at her.
That's it.
This formative period became the source of all the strength and success she would show in her later years. Gladys grew up singing in church, where she was immersed in the gospel melodies that filled the sacred space. Music was not only a source of joy for her, but also a way to express her soul and touch deep emotions. It was here that her unique voice was first noticed, which led to more opportunities. In 1952, when she was only 8 years old, Gladys appeared on the popular TV show Ted Max's Original Amateur Hour as a little girl from Atlanta. It was a time full of challenges and hope, but Gladys rose to the occasion. Didn't just compete, she won first place, leaving a strong impression on both the judges and the audience with her amazing voice. That moment not only confirmed her talent, but also gave her hope for a bright future. However, the event that changed Gladys's career forever was an accident that happened at her younger brother Bubba's 10th birthday party. The record player broke down. To keep the party going, Gladys, her sister Brenda, and her two cousins William Guest and Eleanor decided to sing together without planning to. The perfect harmony of their voices made such a magical performance that the family realized they could do much bigger. That's when the group Gladys Knight and the Pips was born, named after their cousin, James Pip Woods. The early days of the group were marked by relentless practice under the guidance of Gladys's mother, Sarah Knight. The group started performing at small events around Atlanta, from churches to local talent shows, and they quickly became known for 1955. The group became famous by winning almost every local talent show they entered. This helped them build a reputation and also caught the attention of music producers. In 1957, the group signed their first recording contract with Brunswick Records, which was a big deal, but their first recordings didn't do well commercially. That didn't stop the group. They kept performing and opening for big names in the music business, Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke, among others. These performances not only improved Gladys and her group's performance skills, but also helped them create a unique musical style. By the late 1950s, the group had gone through major changes when two original members, Brenda Knight and Eleanor Guest, left to focus on their families. To fill the void, they added two new members, a cousin named Edward Patton and a close friend named Langston George. These additions gave the group new energy and pushed them further on their musical journey. The recording of Every Beat of My Heart gave them their big break in 1961. The song was first released by a local Atlanta record label, but it was quickly picked up by VJ Records, which was one of the biggest independent record labels at the time. With Gladys's powerful and heartfelt vocals, the song went to number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it the group's first big hit. This was a big moment that made Gladys Knight and the Pips even bigger stars and opened the door for them to move to New York and sign with Fury. Under the guidance of Bobby Robinson, owner of Fury Records, the group re-recorded Every Beat of My Heart, which helped them reach even more people. Robinson also helped them improve their musical style by combining gospel and soul elements to create a unique sound. This time was one of growth and learning, setting the stage for even bigger successes in the future. However, the early stages of their career were not without problems. They had money problems and had trouble staying together, but with patience they were able to get through it. With consistent hard work and Gladys's natural talent, they slowly made a name for themselves in the music business. Their rise from small stages in Atlanta to the top of the Billboard charts showed how persistent and passionate Gladys was about music. 9. And the Pips' career success and accomplishments. After their early success with M-Town Records in the 1960s, Gladys Knight and the Pips started to make a name for themselves in the music business. In 1967, with the hit I Heard It Through the Grapevine. The song not only topped the charts, but also became a symbol of soul music, showing how talented and popular the group was. In the years that followed, they released a number of hit songs at Motown, including If I Were Your Woman and Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye. The latter won them a Grammy Award and became one of their most famous songs, but the group felt stifled in their creativity by the company's strict management. Gladys Knight and the Pips decided to leave MGM in 1973 and sign with Buddha Records, which started a bold and creative new era. The group entered their golden age with timeless hits. That same year, they released Midnight Train to Georgia, a classic not only in soul music but also in the history of global music. The song, which won a Grammy Award, told a heartfelt story of love, sacrifice, and loyalty, and Gladys's deeply emotional voice made it come to life. It quickly became one of the most loved songs of all time during their time at Buddha Records. The group continued to release hit songs like Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me and I've Got to Use My Imagination. The commercial and artistic success of these songs not only cemented their place on the charts, but also helped them leave a lasting musical legacy. By the late 1980s, the group had decided to split up, releasing their last album, All Our Love, and going on a farewell tour in 1988. This was the end of an amazing journey for a group that had made history. After Gladys Knight and the Pips broke up, she started a new career as a solo artist. By the early 1990s, she had shown that she could shine on her own. Her solo album, Good Woman, which came out in 1991 and had the hit song Men as a single, was a big hit. The album was well received by fans and confirmed Gladys as a leading voice in soul music. In 1994, she released Just For You, which went gold, further proving her lasting popularity. The album had the unforgettable track Superwoman, which she wrote with legendary singers Diane Warwick and Patti LaBelle. This performance, which combined vocal mastery with deep emotion, became one of the most memorable. Gladys also made a big mark internationally by recording the theme song Kill for the 1989 James Bond movie of the same name. The hit song made it to the top 10 in the UK and Germany, showing how popular she is and how strong she has been in the international music scene throughout her solo career. Gladys Knight won a lot of important awards, including 7 Grammys, some of which were for her solo work. She was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996 and received the Kennedy Center honors in 2022, which is a high honor for her outstanding contributions to arts and culture. Gladys Knight's influence went beyond music. As the leader of the Saints Unified Voices Choir, she inspired many people through her community work and continued to bring gospel music to audiences while spreading the word. She raised money and awareness for education and children's health care through her charitable work, solidifying her role as both an artist and a symbol of kindness. From her early days on stage with Gladys Knight and the Pips to her illustrious solo career, Gladys Knight has shown that her talent and love for music know no bounds. Whether she performs with a group or by herself, she remains an icon of soul music, giving the world not only timeless hits but also deep lyrics. With her strong willpower and humanitarian values, Gladys Knight's legacy will live on in the hearts of music fans and future generations of artists. Outside of her successful music career, Gladys Knight's personal life was full of ups and downs, with love losses and overcoming hardships to find happiness and peace. Her romantic life was marked by a series of ups and downs, with 4 marriages, each with its own set of problems. Heartbreaks. She got married for the first time when she was 16 to James "Jimmy" Newman, a singer from Atlanta and a classmate. The young couple's relationship started out happy and innocent, but tragedy struck early in their marriage when Gladys had a miscarriage. Even so, she and Jimmy started a family together and had 2 children, James Gaston Newman III and Kenya Maria Newman. Their marriage lasted 12 years, but it wasn't happy because Jimmy fought with drug addiction, which caused them to fight all the time. Eventually, they broke up when Jimmy left Gladys, who was only 20 years old. Gladys was left to raise 2 young children by herself while trying to keep up her music career after her first marriage ended in divorce in 1973. A few years later, Jimmy died, leaving Gladys with a deep sense of sadness. After her first marriage, Gladys fell in love with Barry Hankerson in 1974. Barry was a music producer and the founder of Black Ground Records. He was also the uncle of the late singer Aaliyah. 1976, but their relationship was soon put to the test by problems in both their personal and professional lives. In 1979, they got divorced, which led to a nasty custody battle over their son. Things got really bad when Shango was kidnapped and Gladys had to spend over $1 million to find and save him. This traumatic event left her with deep emotional scars that she carried into her third marriage in 1995 with Les Brown, a famous motivational speaker. Their busy careers and personal lives eventually made their relationship impossible to maintain. They got a divorce in 1997, just 2 years after getting married. Gladys's fourth marriage to William McDowell brought her the peace and stability she had been looking for. They built a loving life together in Fairview, North Carolina, with their large family of 17 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. They also gave back to their community by turning her career. Gladys Knight turned an old high school into a community center where people could connect through educational and cultural activities. However, she also had a quiet battle with gambling addiction. What started as a fun hobby at casinos turned into a serious issue. The thrill of winning and the despair of losing drew her into a destructive cycle. One of the most shocking events happened when she lost $660,000 in one night at a baccarat table. This loss was a wake-up call that showed how serious the problem was. Gladys Knight knew she couldn't beat her addiction on her own, so she went to Gamblers Anonymous and found support and advice from other people who had been through the same things. Over time, she overcame her addiction, got back control of her finances, and found balance in her life. Her journey became not only a personal triumph, but also an inspiring story about the power of facing and overcoming hardship. One of the worst things that happened in her life was the death of her husband. Jimmy, as she affectionately called her eldest son, James Gaston Newman III, died of heart failure at the age of 36 in 1999, leaving an irreplaceable void in Gladys's heart and family. Jimmy was more than just her son, he was also her representative, running Newman Management Inc. and playing a key role in her career. Jimmy's sudden death threw the family into long-lasting grief, and there were rumors about his death, including claims that he was involved with drugs. Gladys chose to remain silent, choosing to focus on honoring her son. Jimmy was not only a child but also a partner and a constant presence in her life. The difficulties she has faced in her personal life have made her the strong woman she is today. She has become stronger through pain, including failed marriages, heartbreaking losses, and battles with herself. She has always found a way to move forward. Her life is a powerful testament to the strength of will and faith, not only in her music, but also in her ability to face and overcome challenges. Overcoming life's storms, Gladys Knight found strength and peace in her faith. Her belief in God became not only a source of hope, but also a guiding light that helped her get through some of the darkest times in her life. She was raised in the Baptist tradition, where the hymns she sang in church not only developed her beautiful voice, but also planted the seeds of a deep, lasting spirituality. The journey didn't end with these early values. In 1997, Gladys made a big decision. She would become a Mormon and join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS. This was because her children had already joined the church, which inspired her. She said she was drawn to the LDS Church's focus on family love and community values, which were things she had always valued. She also said that becoming an LDS was more than just a change in religion, it was a spiritual rebirth. After all the ups and downs in her life, she knew she needed a place to find peace and deeper meaning. In the LDS Church, she found a community that was welcoming and supportive. For Gladys, joining the church was about building a new connection to her faith. She and her family joined the LDS community, and Gladys not only participated in it, but she also actively contributed to it through her musical talents. She started and led the Saints Unified Voices Choir, a Grammy-winning gospel choir, and gave powerful performances that she believed that music could bring people closer to their faith and community. The choir's performances were popular not only with LDS audiences, but also with a wider audience, spreading gospel music and the humanistic message of the LDS to a wider audience. In addition to her religious devotion, Gladys put a lot of value on family values, which remained at the center of her life. After going through some hard times, she found peace in building a loving home with her fourth husband, William McDowell. The couple moved to Fairview, North Carolina, where they turned an old high school in Asheville into a community center that added to the area's cultural and social life. There, Gladys and William built a warm, family-centered life with their 17 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. Living in North Carolina gave Gladys peace and the chance to live out her commitment to family and community values, which she often stressed, that her family was her biggest source of inspiration and the reason she kept going even when things were hard. For Gladys, each family member was a precious gift, and seeing the next generation grow and thrive brought her a lot of pride and joy. Faith and spirituality were important parts of Gladys Knight's life. Her journey shows how she was always looking for peace, meaning, and connection, even when she was facing terrible problems. Her faith not only helped her get through hard times, but it also let her spread love and hope. This is not only the story of an artist, but also the journey of a strong woman who found light in the darkest parts of life. Life and Legacy in 2014, Gladys Knight will start her farewell tour after more than 70 years of music. The tour will include shows in major cities across the UK and the US. It will be both a goodbye to the stage and a heartfelt tribute to the millions of fans who have loved and supported her throughout her career. The tour began in June in the UK, with stops in Glasgow, Birmingham, London, and more. One of the most memorable moments was her performance at the Albert Hall, where she captivated the crowd with well-known songs like Midnight Train to Georgia and Neither One of Us, leaving everyone in a sea of emotions. In August, she continued her journey in the U.S. with concerts at famous venues like the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater in Detroit. Gladys Knight's influence goes beyond the stage. Now that she is almost 80 years old, she and her husband, William McDowell, are still making important contributions to their community. They live in Fairview, North Carolina, where they turned an old school into a community center where people can get educational and cultural opportunities. Her large family, which includes 17 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren, is her greatest source of pride and motivation. Knight's musical legacy isn't defined by the number of awards she's won or the number of #1 hits she had. Her 7 Grammys, induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and recognition from the Kennedy Center honors are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her impact. What really defines her legacy is her ability to use her voice to communicate deep emotions and touch millions of hearts. Songs like If I Were Your Woman and Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me aren't just musical masterpieces. They stories of love, loss, and hope are inspiring. Besides her music career, Gladys is known for her community service and charitable work. As the founder and leader of the Saints Unified Voices Choir, she shares not only music but also messages of love and faith. The choir's performances have been well received by both members and non-members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where Gladys has found peace and meaning in her spiritual journey. Many artists, including Alicia Keys and Beyoncé, have said that Gladys taught them not only how to express themselves through music, but also how to be strong in the face of hardship. Gladys has become a symbol of not only soul music, but also perseverance and triumph over hardship. Gladys Knight's life and career are a living testament to the power of persistence and the strength of a love for music. At almost 80 years old, she not only thinks back on an extraordinary journey, but continues to build her legacy through her ongoing contributions, whether on stage or in her community. Gladys remains a guiding light, inspiring others with her willpower and passionate spirit. Her legacy lives on in her music and in the hearts of those who loved and will always cherish her. If you are moved by Gladys Knight's amazing story, please share this video with other music fans and subscribe to our channel to learn more emotional journeys of musical legends like Gladys Knight, who have turned pain into strength and left behind a lasting legacy. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next film.